Hello, I'm reading The Veiled Throne, which is book 3 in the Dandelion Dynasty. If you need a refresher on what the Dandelion Dynasty is, I'll go ahead and link the review I did for The Grace of Kings, or it was a reading vlog, but I'll link the reading vlog for The Grace of Kings, and that'll give you at least an idea of the beginning. But Grace of Kings, I loved. Wall of Storms, book 2, blew me out of the water, and now I'm in The Veiled Throne. So I've actually been reading this book for a month and a half now. Oh my gosh, it's thick. It's a 1,000-page book, and I've been reading other stuff alongside of it. I just read a chapter in the evening before bed typically, and I don't even do that every night. But now that I'm past the halfway point, I'm just giving it my full attention, and we're just gonna see this sucker through because I'm past the point of no return. The Veiled Throne starts in the past. It starts following a new character in a past timeline. So it took me a little bit to really get into the rhythm of this particular book. The other two books, I felt like I jumped into them and was hooked immediately. This has been the first book that I've taken my time to get into, but then after we get through that beginning piece, then we kind of pick up on what we were doing in the previous book, and then it's explosive, it's battles, it's intense. There have been some scenes that have been rough. We're following two groups of people that are attempting to integrate, and it's not going smoothly because there's all these biases and these preconceived ideals of, you know, the lesser group of people, the less educated, the more savage group of people, the ones that need to be assimilating more. And there's these while there's families that are coming together, there's also slurs that are being used on the children that are mixed and things like that. So there's a lot of like small scale politicking, but also that more introspective thing that Kin Liu is so good at, where characters have good intentions, but situations are more complicated than it may seem, and Liu likes to dig into those complicated things and dig into our very complicated human nature of wanting of the pain of seeing your culture being squashed down for the greater good, or the difficulty of having your language get weeded out, or on the flip side, the difficulty of weeding out your own previous biases against the people group that you're trying to assimilate with. There's scheming, there's manipulation, there's honor, there's very complicated human things happening on every page of this book. Lines that I'm underlining constantly. Kin Liu has such beautiful prose that, again, just kind of pinpoint the core of an issue and work around it in a way that makes the reader examine it from many different angles and feel the need to work through how complicated and difficult this situation is, and the ideas that people either are stuck in the cycle of, can't break free of, or are working to push back against. We have characters that are incredibly lovable. We have characters that are so hateable. Oh, so hateable. The story is only expanding. We have so many established characters that are continuing on through this story and continuing to get deeper and continuing to have visceral character arcs. And then we also have new characters that are coming in that are getting just the same amount of nuance. And so this cast is just growing and growing, and this world and the conflicts within it are growing and growing. So this truly is an epic. And it's a lot to keep up with, and I think that's a big reason why I've taken it so slowly up to this point, is just because there's so much to wrap my head around that I can only handle about a chapter in the evenings. But now, again, I'm at the point of no return, so we're moving. So I should have this book done by the end of the week, and I'm excited to talk to you about it because these books are phenomenal. Welcome to the vlog. finished The Veiled Throne, and it was so good. Incomplete, but so good. So this book was a 2,000-page book that Ken Liu wrote, and then his publishers said, I'm not publishing that, split it up. And so he just cut the book in half and published it as two. So because of that, excellent book, but incomplete. Certain storylines, certain things that we were building to that just like, catch you next time. So I loved it. This is a book where a lot of people's plans are not going the way we, the reader, might have expected them to go or wanted them to go. This is a book where certain people groups merging isn't easy. And in fact, it's not easy in big ways, like conflicts between them and prejudices that can't die quickly. And then in small ways, like someone whose kids, they don't want to try to solve the same riddles that she grew up thriving on. They don't want to learn to read, which is a passion for her. So simple ways where the changing of time and the changing of cultures affects them as well. And then you also have really big things happening, like interactions with the gods, sometimes in really hands-on ways and sometimes in really funny ways, hands-off ways, where they're like trying to send signs, trying to nudge you along, and people aren't getting the signs and they're like, what are we to do? Why aren't they picking this up? Why don't they get it? Huge epic battles that really hone in on the price of war, politics, manipulation, honor, inventions that shape and change the world, as well as true love stories that are at times so tragic. For me, this is probably my least favorite of the 3 books I've read so far. It would probably be Wall of Storms, Grace of Kings, and then The Veiled Throne. But keep in mind that The Grace of Kings was a 5-star book for me. I know a lot of people kind of struggle through Grace of Kings, and then Wall of Storms wins them over. That was not the case for me. For me, I was hooked with Grace of Kings, easy. And then Veiled Throne, I loved, absolutely adored. But because it is 2 books that's been cut in half, there's just a lot of dissatisfaction that I feel coming at the other side of it, because I need the other half of the story. You know what I mean? So, I might change my mind after I read Speaking Bones, which I am going to read. I'm going to start Speaking Bones in November, and I'm really excited to see how this all comes. This is going to be one of my new favorite series. I don't question it. I know it to be true. It already is. It's already there. So, anyway, I also finished the 2nd arc for The Promised Neverland. So I've done the Jailbreak arc, that's what it's called. And I'm really enjoying the series. So in the first, again, manga talks. My voice is spoiler free. The screen will have panels on it. So if you want to remain spoiler free, use me as a podcast from here moving forward. But anyway, the Jailbreak arc ended up, so as I said in the first arc, it's this lovely, happy, wholesome orphanage where they are well fed, they are well loved, they are well educated and well treated, and then the twist comes. Then they find out that it's far more sinister, and now this is them trying to get out, trying to get free, trying to save themselves. But not just themselves, there's 37 children here, and 6 of them are under a year old, and not 14, there's more than 14. A lot of them are under 6. So there's a lot of complications with the idea of having 13-year-olds try to care for these 37 children. But they want to. They would like for them all to get free of this bad situation. So a lot of it is them trying to figure out how to do it, figure out how are they keeping tabs on us, how are they tracking our movements, how are they doing this, how can we stop that, and then how can we get out. And new obstacles present themselves, new things enter the story. Some of the new things that enter the story never fully won me over. It existed, it was fine. There was a certain character that came in that she served her purpose, but I wouldn't say that she was the strongest part of this arc or near that. But we also got a lot more information about the very complicated situation that they're in, and how incredibly difficult it will be for them to get through. And even the villain of this story, it's like you have this idea of this villain, and then it kind of gets turned around, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, you're the bad guy, I should fear you. But then still, layers aren't done being laid, where there's just a lot going on with this character that makes this character extremely interesting. And I hope we're not done with this antagonist, although I don't know what we're doing next. So still strongly enjoying this story. First 2 arcs have been very good, and I'm very excited to read more. So that's what I did this week. I finished The Veiled Throne, and I read the 2nd arc of Promised Neverland. I hope you enjoyed what you read, and please do talk with me more about them in the comments if you've read them or if you want to. I post videos every Tuesday and Thursday on this channel, Mondays and Fridays on the other channel, which is always linked in the description. I'm currently reading the Britney Spears memoir. That's going to be up tomorrow on the other channel, so check that out. It's a doozy. I'll see you again soon. Bye.